I'm going to share the 6 growth myths that are keeping videographers and photographers from hitting 6 figures in their business. These are the exact traps I had to overcome to go from a struggling creative to building a 6-figure photo and video business without sacrificing my creative vision. Most videographers and photographers stay trapped in that $30,000 to $50,000 a year range because they're following outdated advice that simply doesn't work in today's market. And these traps are costing you thousands every month in lost revenue and wasted effort. So without further explanation, let's dive into the 6 growth myths keeping creatives broke. Myth number 1, if your work is good, clients will just come. This might be the most expensive lie creative entrepreneurs tell themselves. Let me tell you a painful story. I spent an entire year posting my absolute best work on Instagram every day. I loved what I was sharing. It was getting tons of likes, and I got pretty good at photography with this project. This was 2019, so you can go back and see what I did. Want to know how many clients I got from all the effort? 0. Not a single one, because I was focused on showing off my creative skills instead of solving problems for potential clients. And here's the hard truth I had to learn. The market is full of incredibly talented videographers and photographers who are barely making ends meet, while other creatives with average skills are booking 5-figure clients. Why? Because running a creative business requires business skills and creative talent. And the reality is that clients aren't just going to stumble across your Instagram and think, wow, this person is so talented, I need to hire them right away. That's just not how it works. What you need to do is actively do outreach to potential clients. Post content that showcases your process of working with clients. Share testimonials and case studies and proof from previous clients. Demonstrate the results you've achieved and not just the creative ability you have. Share content that addresses client problems, not just content that showcases your portfolio. Let me ask you this. How many hours did you spend last week actually improving your business versus just perfecting your craft? Stop hiding behind your camera and hoping to be discovered. The most successful creatives that I know, the ones making multiple 6 figures, spend as much time or more on the business side as they do on their craft. By the way, if you want to hit 6 figures faster, I have a free community with lessons that go super in depth into building a sustainable photo and video business. Link to join for free is down below. Myth number 2, more clients always equals more money. And this myth is particularly dangerous because it seems so logical. Want to make more money? Just take on more clients. But here's where this falls apart. When you're undercharging, adding more clients just means adding more stress, more deadlines, more revisions, more burnout, without really increasing your income. Let me share a quick story here. When I first started, I was charging about $50 per product photo and like $500 for a brand video that took me like 20 hours to complete. And I thought if I could just book more brands each month, I could easily double my income. But what actually happened, I found myself working long weeks, missing deadlines, delivering rushed work, my quality dropped, and I was feeling burnt out. My passion disappeared, and I was only making about $5K a month before expenses. But then I made a pivot. I raised my rates to $2,000 minimum for projects. I improved my process, my sales process. I focused more on delivering exceptional value and a really great customer experience to fewer clients. And the result was I was making more money with just a few clients per month. The key here was premium positioning. And this isn't just about randomly raising your rate or using packages or something like that. It's about positioning yourself as a premium service provider in every aspect of your business. This is your messaging on your website about what problem you solve, your offer structure and your packages, the components you include on your website, your pricing strategy, how you handle your discovery calls, and your proposal process. Premium positioning attracts clients who are actually willing to pay premium rates. And when you're doing outreach, you're specifically looking for clients who value quality over price. Now, don't get me wrong, this is really hard to do and it requires rethinking your entire approach to your business, but it's the difference between constantly hustling for more and more clients and building a sustainable business with fewer, better clients. Remember, it's not about how many clients you have, it's about the quality of those clients and the value of each project. What would your business look like if you raised your rates and focused only on fewer, better clients? Okay, myth number 3, you need to invest heavily in expensive gear to grow. This myth cost me thousands of dollars and really stalled my progress. And like every other photographer, videographer out there, I used to believe that I needed the latest gear, the best lens, the most expensive lighting gear, the maxed out MacBook Pro to be successful, right? I thought clients just cared about that. I thought I needed to take better photos and better videos, and a camera that's way better than my current one would give me that. But the reality check is the vast majority of clients have no idea what camera you're using. Listen to this. So I've had hundreds of client projects in my career, and I can count on one hand how many times a client has asked me what gear I shoot on. It's just not what they care about. And every time I was asked that, it was from a low budget client. What clients actually care about is, do your videos get them results? Do you solve their problems? Do you make them look good? Can you deliver on time? Are you easy to work with? Don't get me wrong, like having good, reliable gear is important, but chasing the latest and the greatest in cameras and lenses is a straight path to charging $500 a shoot with a $10,000 setup. The uncomfortable truth here is that many creatives are using the excuse of buying better gear as a way to avoid the real work of building a business. It's way easier to research cameras and watch YouTube videos about the latest gear than it is to actually learn the business side and send outreach messages. Like, I have videos on my channel talking about gear. I reviewed laptops for creatives, and those videos have 10x the views of this one. I guarantee it, because very few people care about improving their business knowledge. But you're watching this, so you're different. So welcome to the channel. Now, instead of dropping $5,000 on a new camera, what if you invested that money in hiring contractors to help you scale, business coaching or courses, marketing automation tools, a virtual assistant to handle admin work, or even paid advertising to reach more of your ideal clients? For me, the biggest ROI has always been investing in myself. When I started working with my first mentor, Zach Dula, he showed me the path to 6 figures as a photo and video business owner, and I hit that in a few years. When Dan Martell asked me if I was interested in his coaching program, I said yes. And these investments have had the highest ROI in my life. And that's why I started my own education company, Creative Biz Launch, so that I can give back to more creatives who struggle with the business side. It doesn't make as much money as my photo and video company, but it helps a lot more creatives on that business side of things, because if you're good with a camera, you can make 6 figures a year with it. I promise you'll see a much higher ROI on those investments I listed earlier than just the latest camera gear. If you're currently looking to invest in yourself, you can learn more about my paid membership down below. We exclusively work with photographers and videographers who are under 6 figures but want to scale. So if that sounds like you, check out the link and learn more about how Creative Biz Launch can help you. All right, myth number 4, you need a huge team to scale. I fell for this one hard, and for the longest time, I was stuck at a pretty low income in my photo and video business, and I was convinced that the missing piece was building out a team. So what did I do? I hired 3 people really quickly, because that's what I thought successful business owners did. But here's the thing, my revenue barely moved. Why? Because I was hiring based on what other people told me to do, not because I had a specific need or a strategy for these team members. I was hiring for the sake of hiring, not to solve specific problems in my business. And the result here was more stress about paying them each month, inconsistent quality, and actually less profit despite higher revenue. And it wasn't until I figured out how to be a better leader to these people that I hired that my income actually shot up. And honestly, I could have achieved a lot of that growth without hiring so quickly. Here's what I wish someone had told me. You can build a highly profitable 6-figure video business as a solopreneur with the right approach. And the secret isn't a big team. It's building efficient systems and leveraging strategic help only where it matters most. For example, like instead of hiring a full-time editor, work with contract editors on a per project basis. Instead of hiring a full-time assistant, use automation tools and processes to actually reduce the amount of admin work you have in the first place. Instead of trying to do everything in-house, you can outsource just specific tasks of your post-production process when needed. I know videographers and photographers making 6 figures a year with just themselves and 1 to 2 regular contractors, because they've mastered the art of high-value projects, efficient workflows, and saying no to clients that don't fit their model. The goal should be to build a business that gives you creative fulfillment, financial freedom, and that lifestyle that you desire. And for most people, that's going to be you, an editor, a virtual assistant, and maybe a photographer or videographer. Remember, bigger isn't always better. Profitable and sustainable is what you're after. Myth number 5, social media followers equal business growth. And this myth is particularly prevalent right now, and it's a huge distraction for creatives trying to build sustainable businesses. And honestly, for me, if I didn't focus so much about building out my audience on Instagram and YouTube, Pieta Productions would have been way more profitable. So let me share something with you that might surprise you. Over 80% of my clients in Pieta Productions have come from direct outreach, not from people finding me on social media. And I know creative entrepreneurs with around 1,000 followers who are doing 6 figures in revenue. And I also know creators with tens of thousands of followers who struggle to land even a single client and are nowhere near 6 figures. The hard truth here is that follower count has almost nothing to do with your ability to book high-paying photo and video clients if you don't have a sales or marketing process in place. What matters far more is who follows you. Are they potential clients or just other videographers? The quality of your relationship with your followers, your ability to convert interest into actual sales. These 3 things are what matter most. On a recent coaching call, I was talking all about who we create content for. And most creatives make content for other creatives. But inside of Creative Biz Launch, we show our members to create content for their ideal clients. That was the whole point of this coaching call. And remember that story earlier from me posting every day on social media? Well, my followers grew, but my bank account didn't. But then when I made that shift, instead of trying to reach thousands of random people with my content, with the photos and videos I was posting, I focused on direct outreach, directly connecting with potential clients each month through that targeted outreach approach. And the result was obvious. I booked way more business in the next 3 months than I did in that previous year of really building my audience. Now, don't get me wrong, social media can be a powerful tool when used strategically, but follower count alone is really just a vanity metric that often distracts from real business growth. What I actually recommend to do is to do outreach with a proven marketing or sales system, something like Creative Biz Launch. And once that works, you introduce social media marketing so you can attract inbound leads through there. So what you're doing is you're actively getting revenue through that outreach. And in the background, you're building your social media marketing machine so that over time, leads come in through there. It's way better to have 2,000 followers who are all potential clients than it is to have 20,000 followers who just like watching your behind the scenes content, but will never hire you for a shoot. Okay, growth myth number 6, scaling means losing creative quality or authenticity. And this final myth is probably the most deeply personal one for so many creative entrepreneurs, including myself, because there's this persistent fear that growing your business means compromising your artistic vision. I was worried that when I systemized my approach and raised my rates, or when I brought in other people, that my work would lose its magic, it would lose its creativity. But here's the truth. I discovered scaling properly actually enhances your creativity rather than diminishes it. So I ended up hiring an editor who was actually better than me, and the final assets I would deliver to clients were even better. I saved time on that task, and I was able to spend more time on high value activities in my business, like sales or outreach. And some of my most creatively fulfilling projects have come after I outsourced that editing part of the project. They came after I systemized my business and started charging those premium rates. And it was mainly because I had more time, I had more mental space, and more resources to truly invest in those creative aspects of the work. Because scaling doesn't mean becoming some bland creative agency. It means building a sustainable business that supports and elevates your creative vision. So there you have it, the 6 myths keeping videographers and photographers trapped below 6 figures. If you're ready to move past these limiting beliefs and build a thriving creative business on your own terms, I'd recommend checking out both the free and paid membership in the description below. Those are both part of my education company. My name is Chris Pieta, and I'll see you in the next one.